Here's the 0-1. This is going to be a tough play. Bryant, the Cubs win the World Series. Bryant makes the play. It's over. And the Cubs have finally won it all. 8-7-10.
Welcome to Club 120. The ultimate roundtable for diehard Cubs fans and lovers of all things sports and lifestyle.
Strike three, you're out.
Hosted by Neil and Nate, two former baseball players and coaches turned loud mouths with strong opinions and even stronger banner. Get ready for quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and the occasional heated debate. From analyzing Cubs on-field action to diving into off-field drama, no topic is off limits. So grab your glove, pour a drink, and pull up a seat at Club 120, where the banner's quick, the takes are hot, and the Cubs always come first. Let's get started.
Play ball.
Cubs fans, it's 1:20. You know what time it is. Time to grab a old style and a bleacher seat and come on into 1:20 and let's talk Cubs. I'm Nate, and with me as always is Neil. What do we got on tap today, Skip?
Man, I tell you what, first off, if you are watching this, we apologize. We are in a hotel room. We're obviously traveling this week, happen to be together, but the lighting is terrible in here. So we look like we're filming this from a cave, but I promise you we are okay. Don't need to send any bat signals or anything like that. We're not recording this by candlelight, although it looks that way. But yeah, man, we got a big show. One of the things that we're going to talk about the series finale and how we were able to close that out. Injury bug, it's bit us again. Roster shuffle, the bullpen, stuff like that. And we're going to dive into a Reds preview. So let's get right into it, man. We closed out a series finale. What do you think, man?
Well, I feel like it doesn't matter where we're at right now. It's free, which is not a bad position to be in. Honestly, I really do feel comfortable that we are a team that can win in any short series. And we're doing that without our number 1 and 2 starters. We're doing that with bullpens having coughing up a blown save, which was very concerning. And then they throw shutout innings 5 in a row. So I think that's the case. I don't know what it is about this club right now, but it seems like the last couple series we finally got out of town on the right note. I don't know if there's anything that's been changed. We talked about putting that a little bit on Craig last week, and he kind of answered that in a soundbite, didn't he?
Yeah, he did. It was I wish I could remember which podcast I was listening to. It could be, I don't remember who it was, but I do know that one of them made mention about how Craig put a real emphasis in spring training on Fridays and winning Fridays, winning the first game of the series. Yeah. And I think he mentioned to Taylor McGregor that perhaps he didn't put enough emphasis on closing out the series. Yeah. And that was evident, man. I think, we were 1-6 on Sundays or 1-6 on getaway days or something like that. Yeah. And it wasn't good. It wasn't the kind of the way you want to get out of town or the way you want to end the series. We had multiple opportunities to sweep teams and didn't, just simply because of the way that we played or responded on a series finale. But it was, the last 2 series, it's been really good to see us get out of town on the right way, finish a series the right way. And none of them were pretty. Today wasn't pretty. Today was the series finale with the Marlins, and it wasn't like the night before where we were just freaking hit barrage.
Right.
This was a grinded out kind of win, which I like to see, because I thought we were going to have a grinded out kind of win on Monday.
Right.
And it ended up we lost in a walk-off fashion. So
I said it to you. I thought we were closer to getting swept in that series than winning the series. And that was simply because of how that first one ended. And here's the bullpen. Hodge goes mysteriously on the IL almost immediately as the game ends. And everybody's left wondering what happened. And then, you blow it in a tough way there. But a lot of that was just an unknown factor. And some of that mental baseball game is harder than the rest. And I feel like we fixed a little bit of that because, man, they did come out the next night. Obviously, always resilient, but getting out of Miami or being in Miami is always dangerous for especially with young teams. And we've got a lot of young guys, and you can get distracted out there. And it seems like a fun time. You see everybody, even at who was it? Cohen was posting, his eats for the week. Everybody's doing a little bit of something this week, and it seemed like, man, there was a lot of distractions. So to come out of there with 2 wins, put that grinder together today, and say we're getting out of here with something, and to put that run up in the 8th was real nice. So it's always great to see.
No, I think you're exactly right. I think there's a lot of distractions when you go to Miami. I think, you see the Instagram posts, and this is, every club does it different with how they travel and how your family's allowed to travel. But man, when you're going to South Beach in the middle, you're in the Midwest and you're playing games and it's 50 degrees and your family's there. Every spouse and girlfriend wants to go on that trip, and it can be a real disaster. And they finished it well. So, man, let's move on to the injury bug. Obviously, you mentioned a little bit with Porter getting hurt and an oblique. I tell you what, I don't think I've heard the word oblique as much in my life as I have in the last 8 weeks.
Yeah.
Javi's got an oblique.
Happer had the oblique.
Hap had the oblique. Now Porter's got the oblique. It's an oblique situation, if you will. But it's dad jokes. Can't help it.
Hey.
Can't help it. Just happens. But yeah, man, like it seems like we just can't get healthy.
Unfortunately, we're never gonna, because your number one is gone for the year. So you can always lean on the injury bug for anything. Good news is this team's pretty resilient, and it seems like the plan has been to bed in a couple of youngsters while we're at it, which is great, right? We always want to yell about playing the kids and et cetera, but for them to come up and contribute. But let's hit on that a little bit. Porter, Hodge, man, that's a big back end of your bullpen, just kind of starting to settle into that closer role. Everybody has that, circle of trust tree, whatever you want to call it, and he's the lead dog there. And when that goes down, that kind of throws a wrench in it. So we're really concerned. And, there's not a lot of information about it right now, but hopefully that's the case. Other injury news that I would throw out there, it's not really sure how they are classifying it week to week, but this week Tyson Miller is officially beginning his rehab assignment. He has been throwing. Obviously, there's live game action of him doing baseball activities, including striking guys out. So it's good to see that. Maybe that could be something potentially that we're looking at for a short-term or long-term need in the bullpen. If Hodge is down for longer than, the Ian Happ short, that was quick for Happ. Really, I mean, he said it even a couple days in. I'm going to be back Tuesday.
Right.
So that was really good to know that he felt good. What I don't feel good about is Porter Hodge having zero contact right now about how long it's going to be, what his analysis is, and that could be a real detrimental deal. Luckily, we got 4 outfielders that really bang right now, right? And so Saya jumping in there to play the outfield well, gave a couple guys like Mo an opportunity to step in, but it's hard right now with this bullpen as fragile as we are night to night, to lose a guy that's going to come in there and throw 96 to 99 and get outs.
Yeah, I'm really worried about the bullpen, just for different reasons than I was worried about the bullpen 3 weeks ago, right? Like I've always been worried about the bullpen. Those of you that listen to us and follow us, you know how we feel about the bullpen, but it's gone beyond that. It's the whole staff at this point. Like, Javi Assad, Shota, now Porter. It just seems like we just can't get where we need to be. And there's a real shuffle going on out there. I tell you one bright spot about the bullpen that I did see this week and today was basically identical situations as Monday night, and we called on the same guy, right? We called on Palencia in the ninth, and the results were a lot different tonight than obviously they were Monday night. But I will say this: too much big contact. Those were all three of those outs to finish the game were very loud outs, and that was concerning to me. You want your guys coming in the ninth inning. Now, granted, he's pumping 101 in there, but you want your guy to miss bats, and we've just had a real problem finding somebody to come in and shut down the ninth and miss bats.
Right.
So,
you mentioned a moment in there about the shuffle, and there's been some roster shuffling. How do you feel about several guys here? One initial reaction on your Mo Baller. Obviously, he's back down in Iowa. That was a transaction for this week. Pre-planned pretty much, right? It was as soon as Happer was back, we're done with this. And
I
this
think
was your preview. So how was his roster preview?
I think the kid's going to be really good. I think there's a couple things that he's got to learn from. I think he's ahead of, we can talk about Matt Shaw here in a little bit, but they keep showing, Twitter has seen it. We've seen it on Twitter now. We've seen it on, I think the Marquee broadcast even did a thing today where they broke down where he's shortened the stride, he's shortened the preload, the kick, and all that stuff, and Shaw's shortened it up. But I think the difference is with Moises is he's already pretty much made those adjustments, him. I think the biggest adjustment for him, and the biggest thing I really liked about him, while he didn't get off to a great start, I think he was 0 for his first 9 or maybe even 0 for first 11, something like that. But, man, the thing I really liked was his plate discipline. That dude, he has a phenomenal handle on where the zone is and where the ball is in the zone. And, a lot of times there was a lot of pitches where you could tell the guy on the mound thought he threw a wipeout pitch.
Right.
And literally Mo lays off of it. And I thought his plate discipline early on was really, really good.
Yeah, absolutely. I think he was a little timing wise, a little jumpy as far as his balance was concerned. And you saw that as he got into his, after his first 10 at bats, he was 3 for his last 4, 3 for 5, whatever. But man, those first 9 at bats really hurt. And honestly, because every time he came up, there was 1 or 2 dudes in scoring position, and it just, you're like, man, you have a chance to be an immediate star. Like, please be ahead of schedule. And he's on schedule. Let's be honest. We expected to see him this year. He's on schedule. He's a young kid. He's gonna find his timing, but his balance was there, right?
Yeah.
He was a little jumpy, but he wasn't falling over. So I loved seeing that from him. We'll see him back very, very soon. We saw one other new one today. Cade Horton has now made his 3rd start. He is 2-0. He took the no decision today, but threw very well in a grinder game against Meyer. 2 early runs, for each team, and it kind of settled into a playoff style game.
Yep.
He walked 3, struck out 3. What is your initial opinion of Cade Horton? Has he done enough that if a certain player here or there would be available, would that move him to the pen, or does he end up going back at any point in time this year? Is Cade Horton a Chicago Cub big roster guy for the rest of the season?
In my opinion, yes. In my opinion, well, I said yes, but in my opinion, Cade Horton's here to stay. That's just my opinion. I think he's done enough. I think he's good enough. I think he is is one that we've got to lean on. Now, I got one for you. And spoiler alert, when we made these notes, we were talking about call ups and who's going to call up and who they're going to get. Now, since we made the notes, we've seen roster moves where Ethan Roberts has been recalled. But man, I really thought that was going to go to Hollowell.
Yes. I think there's two things that are here. I think we talked about Hollowell should be there. Here's my thing. I think when they sent Ethan back the last time, they had a new plan. He came up and thrilled a little bit, went back, and I think regressed. And so they sent him back with a plan. I'd like to see that plan in action because when he first came, he kind of had that I don't give a dang feel to him, and then he started having feelings. And I think he needs to get out of his own way sometimes. And I think you saw that a little bit with Hollowell in his last couple of appearances before. So I think they said maybe we should leave Hollowell down there to finish those uploads. And I really feel like that's what it is. It's almost like when they go down there, they're going down there with a lot of information. And it's not just, he needs to go. No, they have a flat out plan, and they're going to throw this many times, this many pitches. Here's their bullpen session. So I'm really looking forward to that progress because I feel like more than ever this year, this data that they're using to train these players and get them to the space where they want them, like Pomerantz, for example, you're going to do this way, and it's going to be effective, and you got to buy in. And when they don't get that and they get hit a little bit, can you stay on that plan? That's Drew Pomerantz's deal right now. He's a professional, though. He's been doing this for 10 plus years. Ethan Roberts, Hollowell, when they get hit a little bit, are they going to be able to hold on to those adjustments and not regress back to, I got to try it this way. I got to try this. Stay on pace. And I think that's what we're seeing. Look, Roberts is going to get 2 or 3 innings this next week in some big spaces. So that'll be an interesting scenario to see how he does there in Cincinnati on the road in a big series from that perspective. I'll give you one more to kind of keep a note on, and we'll just pass this on before we get to our Reds preview here. The Cubs have made a signing for Kenta Maeda.
Mm-hmm.
It seems to me that is a Zombro signing, that there's something that they have seen from a guy that they have plenty of film on that says, if we can do this, if he can buy in, we're there. Is the Cubs organization becoming technologically advanced or to an advantage that is available to pros?
Yeah, well, I think they even coined the fancy term pitch lab, right? Like that's the Cubs pitch lab or whatever, and I'm here for it, man. This is another one of those signings like in the offseason when it was Pomerantz and when it was Colin Ray and Matthew Boyd, and it was like, what are we doing? And then you look at them now and golly, they're just excelling. And this is one of those head scratchers where like, man, here we go. We're taking out somebody else's trash. And then it looks like a brilliant move. Like it looks like, now I'm not saying it's going to pan out that way, but that's what the last 3 or 4, what the heck signings have looked like. So I think this could be another one where he sees something where like, man, if we just make this little tweak and we just do this guy's going to be back throwing in the big leagues.
Right.
Obviously, because of the setup and because of live, we're going to be a little bit shorter episode this week. But so the last topic we have, the last thing we want to get into, and I'm gonna kind of preview it this way.
Mm-hmm.
I was more, 4 games set with the Reds, right? Like I think that's where we're at, right?
No, we're
is it just a 3?
You're
right.
Day off. We earned our day off. We got out of Miami with a win, so Craig is going to give them the day off.
Right. So we have a 3-game set with the Reds right here. This series has, from Jump Street, scared me more than the month of April.
You've had this circle for a while now. Why?
Man, I think the Reds are the second best team in the Central. I think it doesn't look that way, right? It doesn't. The Cardinals are on some sort of ungodly supernatural tear right now, but they don't scare me as much as the Reds. I think the Reds are not playing well right now, which is good, I think. But they have the most scare potential for me. Like they
Sure.
scare me the most. And I think this is the month of April is crazy, right? But we knew it was going to be crazy. This is one of those where it's like you have to win your division games. You got to win your division. We didn't do so hot against teams in our division last year. And this is one of those series where, man, there's a real emphasis on you got to be able to beat the Reds.
Sure. Well, with the additions of Tito, right, Francona, the organization is in a better hand, right? He can guide that ship. We know that he can. He's won trophies, he's won pennants, and so that's a big deal. But when you also have somebody as electrifying as Ellie, but you know what scares me worse is we're going to get their best shot this week. We've skipped a few guys. We've missed a couple of number ones. We didn't see Sandy this week. And so we've missed a few guys' best shots as far as their arms are concerned. This series is going to be Green, Abbott, and Lodolo. 1, 2, 3 coming straight at you. We're going to get their best shot, and they're going to show us what the summer's really going to be about. And it is concerning because I'll take our guys, but they're not. We're pitching.
Yeah.
We're pitching the ball very well, and we have to. But we're not throwing 99 in the first 5.
Right.
We're not. These 3 can really bring it, and they pitch well. So if we're not on it, it doesn't matter because the Reds are perfectly fine playing a 1-0 ball game, and there's nothing that scares me more than a 1-0 ball game with this Cubs group right now.
Right. 100%.
On any given night, it doesn't because we will roll 5 shutout innings from the pen, and then sometimes we won't. So if they're going to shut our offense down, that's the only way they're going to beat us, quite honestly, because we can slug with anybody. 23 runs in 3 games here. I think that actually did raise the scoring average for us, which is hard to do at this point because we're already pretty much over 7.
Right.
So we're still banging.
Yeah.
And that park bangs. It's a bandbox at times. So if we can keep that going, I think we're in a good position. I think you're way more scared than I am. I think that
I hope you're right.
Something's going to have to change. To me, it's kind of like it's a big brother, little brother thing at this point. And until little brother gets in your face and just throws you down, they're going to have to show me that they're going to do that.
Yeah.
Now they're lining up a great shot at it this week, but they're still going to have to do it. And they got to get out of their own way sometimes. It's kind of like some of these series with the Reds over the last season and a half or so have been the Reds doing Reds things, or like we said, White Sox doing White Sox things. They tend to do that.
Right.
And when Ellie is not electrifying and they're getting in their own way and stumbling, it's really easy for us to take advantage of that. And we have with less offense in the last 2 years. If they're going to do that now, this Cubs offense has been so opportunistic when that happens. Those crooked numbers are there. And it's hard to keep up with them when they go.
Yep.
So it's going to be a big weekend in Cincy. What's been really impressive is Cubs fans. I am thrilled to be a part of an organization and a fan of a group of fans that shows up today. That park was so much blue.
Yeah, I think you almost said filled, but I think it looked like there was like 8,000 people there, but it looked like 4,000 of them were Cubs fans.
Absolutely. So. And, so the Cubs takeover is fantastic. They travel well. And, that was a great scenario since he's down the street. And I'm looking forward to that. I love going to that park and hearing that. That's, you get to see that all the time. But when you're there, you feel that. And that's a great spot to be. So Cubs fans show up this week in Cincy. It's going to be fun on the river there. Let's get after it.
Yep. That's our show. Thanks for watching. Thanks for tuning in. Thanks for spending part of your week with us. As always, follow us on all social media platforms at Club 120 Show. Follow us. You can visit our website, www.club120show.com. That's our show for the week. Go Cubs, go.
Go Cubs, go.
This has been Club 120. Neil and Nate have practically spent their entire lives doing something centered around baseball. And with these guys, you're going to get quick-hitting, time-answer segments packed with wit, laughs, and, yes, heated debates. We hope you enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, you can find us on all social media platforms at Club 120 Show. And, of course, the website at www.club120show.com. Until next time, go Cubs, go!